Hey guys, it's Cayley. I'm back with another what sold from last week video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my sales last week on the two platforms that I saw on the most, which is eBay and Poshmark. I don't really have a whole lot to say. Sales have been pretty steady, so we're just going to dive right into it. Alright guys, so the sales we're going over happened between March 31st through April 6th. That's a Sunday through Saturday. That is how all the platforms that I sell on do their reports Sunday through Saturday, so it's just so easy for me to pull the same reports and calculate mine also. So bookkeeping tip for you. In total, I sold 236 items between the two platforms. I sold 116 on eBay and 120 on Poshmark. My total gross item sales were about $7,500, making my average sale price $32.13, which is great. I actually had, if you guys watch every single week these what sold videos, you know that my Poshmark average sale price is usually much lower. It was actually $28 this week, so I was very happy with that. Had a lot less items sell, but a lot higher value. And then my average sale price on eBay was a little over $46, that'd be nice, $36. So average sale price in total about $32, which I am pretty happy with. Still continuing to try and get that up between $35 and $40 on a regular basis. And I feel like it's going pretty well. Sometimes when you set goals, you expect things to happen overnight, but usually with eBay and Poshmark and reselling in general, these goals do take quite a bit of time, oftentimes about 6 months, sometimes a year to make it happen. So we're chipping away at it, and I feel like we are doing a pretty good job. So let's dive into some of these higher price sales that are attributing to that higher average sale price. This first one is a J. Crew item. This is a mall brand, so I don't pick up a ton in J. Crew, but there are certain things I know to look for. One of them is their leather pieces, sometimes shoes, a lot of their handbags. They do make some pretty high quality leather pieces. This one did have some light overall wear. We listed it for $40. And for the rest of this video, for all of the eBay items, for those of you that are new, if you're curious as to when I listed this item, towards the top here it tells you the start time, and also in my custom label, which is my SKU, there should be a cost of goods. So this one cost $10 and we sold it for the full asking price of $40. Next up, this is a definite bolo for you guys. Any vintage Y2K Abercrombie and Fitch stuff performs extremely well. Anything that is cargo, whether it's shorts or cropped pants or full-length pants, I would highly recommend picking up. This is a Y2K pair of Abercrombie and Fitch women's crop cargo pants, and there was even a hole near the fly and a size 0. So lots of things going against it in my opinion, but this is how good this item is. So I listed it for $50 even with all of that. It sold for my full asking price, and yeah, I can find these pretty often. I mean, a lot of people pass on this at the thrift store. The thrift stores don't tend to mark it up, but I love finding those niche categories within certain brands that can do well. This is definitely one of those pieces. Next up, this is the Disney store, or the Disney catalog. I don't sell a ton of Disney, but lately we've been selling quite a bit of it. And I think we've just kind of found, again, those niches within the brand that do really well. Plus size Disney for sure can perform well, and certain characters are a little bit more sought after because they didn't, make as much stuff and clothing as they did for some other characters. So I would consider this to be a little bit more of a rare character. It is a Disney catalog women's size 1X wool cardigan, Lady and the Tramp embroidered, and this one did really well. I listed this for $50. It sold on an offer to watcher for $42. And again, if you guys are new, because I know a lot of you are, if you are new, I do not accept best offer on almost all of my items unless I don't really know what to price it for. But even with not having best offer turned on eBay, you can still send out offers to watchers. And so that's my strategy, is to send that out. I feel like I have a little bit more control over the price when that happens, because people can't send me offers, but I can send it to them. And I send off 15% off blanket offers in bulk to everyone multiple times a day if I have eligible listings. So that's where a lot of these offers to watcher sales come from. So I sold this for $42, and this one also, yeah, it only took like a week to sell, so that's pretty awesome. Next up, this was kind of a risky pickup. I went back and forth at the thrift store, or not at the thrift store, sorry, through wholesale. Our wholesale is trying to decide whether to get this or not. This is a Bowden women's Christmas sweater. And the reason I was hesitant to get it is because obviously we are far from Christmas. And I thought, it's a holiday item, plus it's a sweater. People probably aren't going to wear this in spring and summer. But I trusted my gut because it was just so unique from Bowden. And I did some comp searching and I saw that this was a pretty desirable style. Decided to get it in price a little bit lower than everyone else just to move it quicker. So I listed this at $45. It did sell for full asking price and it sold the same day we listed it, which is crazy for a Christmas themed item. So if you guys have a good gut feeling, especially if it's something, if a brand doesn't typically make stuff like this, I just always look it up. There have been a couple of J. Crew pieces I've also found that were very like Nordic printed that went for over $100. So those, again, niche things within brands can perform really well. All right, this is a newer brand to me. This is Fuzzy, which you guys actually taught me is associated with John Paul Gaultier, I think is how you pronounce it. So kind of like a Y2K-ish find, very artsy, and people have this brand listed for a lot of money, but the sell-through rate is not quite there. So I listed mine again lower than everybody else's to try and move it. Plus it was a really great piece with the mixed media in it. Listed this for $50. It did sell on an offer to watcher for $42, and it only took about a week to sell. And I think that again is because I priced it a lot lower than everybody else, to where somebody who probably didn't know this brand still wanted to pick it up just for the factor stacking reasons. All right, next up, you guys have probably heard me talk about this brand Wolford before. They make a lot of great honestly understated pieces where I don't think a lot of resellers would be able to find them, just because they're like plain black tights or a tank top or something like that, and they're usually neutral colored. They're just very easy to look over. So Wolford, great basics, sometimes like in the intimate section. This is a collaboration, which I'm not really sure what this brand is, Niwai maybe. But as soon as I saw a collaboration with Wolford, I was like, we are getting it. So this is a top with a cutout back, listed for $50. It did sell for full asking price and it sold the same day that we listed it. So Wolford, as well as any collaboration with them, absolutely keep your eye out for. All right, this is kind of a factor base, not a factor, an aesthetic base, style base pickup. This is an Apartment 9 women's cashmere cardigan, and it was new at tag. So lots of factor stacking there for sure, but very academia vibes, kind of preppy also. So both of those trends are really trendy right now. I listed this for $45 because it was new at tags and it did sell for full asking price. If you guys are interested in learning more about aesthetic styles, factors, trends that are really popular, we do deep dive those in the group, and that's honestly how I have learned a lot of this stuff, so that I can start picking up things not based on brand, because who's picking up Apartment 9 all the time? Not me. But when certain factors are involved or it has an aesthetic, it just makes sourcing a lot easier, and you can get some really great sales because of it. So if you guys are interested in that, we do talk about that a lot in the group, and we do a lot of deep dives as well. All right, next up, this is a brand that does not have a 100% sell-through rate, but consistently sells for me for good money. It is Icy by Connie K. They're a very log and look artsy, kind of more mature brand. This is a really pretty multicolor kimono. If you guys see anything super multicolor, kind of like rainbowish, very trendy right now. So anytime I see something bright multicolor for spring and summer, I am looking it up, and I know that I'm probably going to add a few dollars to the listing price because of it, just because it is very, very popular and sought after right now. So this was an Icy by Connie K women's like kimono jacket, size extra large, multicolor, lots of great things going for it. I typically list this brand between $30 and $40. I listed this one on the higher end because it was, such great factors for it, particularly the multicolor. I listed it for $40 on the higher end. It did sell for full asking price. Another kind of along those same lines piece, this is the brand August Silk. Not typically a brand I get, but again, lots of great factor stacking here. Bright multicolor. It is silk. It is a tunic top. It's button front and it's plus size. For all of those reasons, I was like cha-ching, 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 adding a bunch of dollar signs in my head on the listing price. So I listed this one high as well at $40, and it did sell for my full asking price. And this one did take a few months to sell, but I mean, again, this is a piece a lot of people are going to pass on just because it's not typically a brand that people pick up. Next is another J. Crew item. I like showing the mall brands that sell well. Again, those pockets of things in the mall brands that can perform well. This is J. Crew Collection, which is a very specific line by J. Crew. This was a beautiful metallic floral detail top, very structured top, and it was a larger size with a size XL. I listed this one for $40. This one sold on an offer to watcher for $34. And this one only took about a month to sell. All right, Soft Surroundings is a fantastic brand to pick up, particularly in plus sizes. Once you start getting up to 2X and 3X, the sell-through rate significantly increases. So this is a Soft Surroundings 2X kind of acid wash tunic top. I found this at the bins. Surprisingly, nobody else wanted it. I was so excited. I listed this for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for $34. All right, this is a brand I've talked about a lot recently. I've picked up pretty much anything in this brand. It is Zarina, and for those of you listening and can't see it here on the screen, it is spelled Xirena, Zarina, and they make a bunch of different pieces. Lots of their stuff is very gauzy. This one I would say is more out of the box, not typical of what they would normally do, but every piece I've ever gotten has sold very quickly from them, so very happy with this brand. Keep your eye out for it. This one was called the Bow Top, size extra small. I listed it for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for $34. Next up is a category you definitely want to keep your eye out for in pretty much any brand because it does significantly increase value. Those are bib overalls, so brands you wouldn't typically get. If you can get them in an overall style, going to increase your sell-through rate and your average sale price. So this is Calvin Klein. These are a pair of vintage 90s short alls, and so I guess I should have specified short alls and overalls can perform really well. We listed these for $35. It sold on an offer to watcher for $30. Here's another example of that. This is the brand Cherokee. Again, not typically a brand I would get, but it's a plus size pair of short alls, plus they were linen blend and an interesting color. I listed these high at $35. They sold for my full asking price. This is a handbag company that performs pretty well. Decent sell-through rate is kind of hard to see here, but it's called the American Leather Company. They make very simple but high quality pieces. This one had quite a bit of wear. I picked it up at the bin, so as to be expected, quite a bit of wear. I listed this for $32. It did sell for our full asking price. Here's another artsy kind of log and look brand. This is the brand Clara Sun Woo. Similarly to Soft Surroundings, this brand performs extremely well in plus sizes, not so much the smaller sizes. This one is a size extra large. The only reason I got this one with it being not plus size is it was on the cusp of being plus size. Plus, look at the vibrant, beautiful colors here. Again, bright multicolor, really in right now, so that is the reason we picked this up. Listed this one for $35. It sold on an offer to watcher for $30. This is another bread and butter find. This is a Talbot's plus size item. I like picking up plus size Talbot's tops, but I also really love picking up their dresses, and their dresses can usually sell for a lot more than the tops. No surprise there, right? This is a Talbot's 18W dress. I listed this for $35. It sold on an offer to watcher for $30. Another brand that performs extremely well in plus sizes, and if you can find 3X and 4X, really high sell-through rate, like probably will sell very quickly for you if you price it right. This one is a J. Jill modal blend Y-neck top in a size 4X. I listed it for $34, which was probably too high and why it took a couple of months to sell, but it did end up selling for my full asking price. And this is kind of, again, a niche area in this brand that can perform well. It is Zara wide leg pants. So I've been selling a lot of Zara wide leg jeans, also their pants, anything like baggy or super like exaggerated oversized wide leg has been performing really well even in the smaller sizes. So this is a pair of wide leg pants. There were a couple of spots on it. I listed this for $30. It sold on an offer to watcher for $25. Not too much, but again, great bread and butter. All right, this was a crazy quick flip. I was very surprised at how quickly this sold. This is, I don't know if it's pronounced Jace maybe. I think it might be sold at Anthropologie sometimes or Urban Outfitters. Either way, if you find this brand in midi or maxi length dresses, especially maxi length, I would consider picking them up. They do have a pretty good sell-through rate in the maxi length, and this one was a size large, which really helped to up all of that stuff. I actually paid $7.99 for this, which I don't recommend you guys do, but I really wanted to test this brand out because it's been a while since I've sold it. The comps look really good as far as sell-through rate, so I was confident I could sell it quickly. I just did not realize that it would sell as quickly as it did. It sold in just about 5 days, I think, for my full asking price of $30, which is great. So I feel like you come across this brand pretty often, so keep your eye out for that. All right, next up, this is another J. Jill plus size piece. This is a 2X linen top. Linen is so hot right now, you guys, no pun intended. Keep your eye out for linen. It significantly increases the value. And you're going to see some more examples in some other brands here in a moment where linen just really pulls the sale through. So if you come across something linen, it's a brand you don't normally get, definitely look it up, include the word linen in your comp search, as well as the size, and I think you'll be surprised at what all things you might be passing on. So this is a J. Jill 2X linen top, kind of, again, that multicolor print. I listed this for $30. It sold on an offer to watcher for $25. Here's another bread and butter for me. This brand in plus sizes performs pretty well. I can't usually get more than $20-25 for it, but it is good bread and butter. Logo by Lori Goldstein. They're very well known for these longer length kind of artsy tunic tops. This one I've been sitting on for a little bit. I probably priced it too high in the beginning. It ended up selling for about $24 on eBay. And here's another example of that brand. This is a 1X cardigan by their line Logo Lounge, and this sold for my full asking price of $25 on eBay. Here's a brand that performs well in linens, especially in larger sizes during this time of the year. 100% sell-through rate on this. This is a Tahari 100% linen 3X tunic top, button down as well, which is going to increase value. Listed this for $25. It sold on an offer to watcher for $21. And of course, we all know Johnny Was, right? Johnny Was is a great brand. This is an extra large. It also was like an embroidered tunic top, but I wanted to show you guys this one because it just isn't typical of Johnny Was. Usually everybody's looking for the bright multicolor stuff, but they do make some not so bright pieces, so I thought it would be an interesting piece to show you. With all of that said, I listed this very high at $100, and I sent out offers to watchers, which somebody accepted for $85. This is a brand that performs pretty well in blazers. They also make pants and shirts. Depending on what you have, can be a decent brand. I would consider this a pretty good men's bread and butter brand. Not everything's 100% sell-through rate, but a lot of it is. This is a blazer, which is a little bit harder to find in this brand, but it is one worth remembering because it does do pretty well. And even though we are moving into spring and summer, we are still picking up blazers. We're just trying to stay away from wool. So we're looking for like cottons, linens, things like that. You can see this one's cotton and bamboo. We are going to talk about bamboo here in just a moment. But if you guys see anything with bamboo in it, it is a very good material and a lot of people look for it. It's kind of like a silk linen-y, under that same realm where it's breathable, it's super lightweight. So definitely keep your eye out for it. A lot of brands that are known for making bamboo pieces have high sell-through rates. This is not a brand known for that, but I'm thinking of like Free Fly and some other brands like that. They all have high sell-through rates, and I think it's because of the bamboo. So this is a Bonobos men's blazer bamboo blend. I listed this for $60. It had a spot on the back, otherwise I might have listed it a little bit higher, and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up, this is Lululemon. I just thought it was worth noting because even though I think we all know Lululemon, right? I think it is worth noting that certain styles are performing very well still, even though the brand as a whole is somewhat oversaturated. So you can do one of two things when you look it up. You can either look up the style number right here, or you can do a Google lens. And either way, I think you're going to have some luck, and you can do a comp and figure out, okay, is this an oversaturated style or is it not? The Wonder Unders are performing very well for me still. I listed these for $50. They did sell for full asking price. All right, I think I talked about Emerson Fry recently because we sold a dress by Emerson Fry. I thought this was worth showing because apparently they have different lines. This one's called Curation by Emerson Fry. It is a pullover, like poncho top, cover up kind of thing. The elastic on this was a little bit stretched out. We still list it for $65, so there's a lot of value in this brand and all of the lines in this brand as well. And it did sell for our full asking price, even with that flaw. All right, speaking of bamboo, this is a pajama brand that you guys might want to remember. It is Cozy Earth. Here is the label. And you can see that it is made out of bamboo. So again, brands known for their bamboo. Definitely worth looking into. Almost all of them have a 100% sell-through rate. So this is a pair of pajamas. Altogether, the cost of this was $13. We listed it for $60, and it sold on an offer to watcher for $51. All right, next up, I've talked about this brand before. It is Alice and Olivia, designer brand. Not all of their pieces sell quickly or for a lot of money, but again, with that bright multicolor patterns, prints, I knew this was going to be a good one. So this one we listed at $60. It was called the Connor dress, and it did sell for our full asking price. Again, keep your eye out for these bright multicolor prints. They are very trendy right now. And if you guys haven't heard of this, this is the brand, I think it's Qualitree. And this is like what they're known for, their Trailhead Adventure Pants. And over 100% sell-through rate in these. I would get them in both men's and women's. Very high sell-through rate. This one had several issues with it, and it's still sold on an offer to watcher for $51. So lots of value in this brand, specifically in the Trailhead pants. All right, moving on to some of the Poshmark sales. This is the brand Wilfred. Similarly to Zara, I have found that wide leg items in this brand perform well. So this is a pair of linen blend. They were called the Effortless Pant. And this brand Wilfred is sold at Aritzia, which is why I think it's so popular. And this sold on an offer for $53. Next up, this is Anthropologie. I've said it before, anything larger size, especially plus size, but even size large and up in Anthropologie just sells very well for me. Once you start getting into the plus sizes, you're looking at higher ASP. This one was new with tag, so very lucky to find these. You can see it retails for quite a bit, $120. These were a pair of Colette crop pants, and they sold for $65. So a little over half of retail value, which is pretty good for a new with tag item. This is a newer brand to me. It is Wills, which is sold at Huckberry. And if you guys have not already, and I'm sure you're sick of me talking about it, but go on to the huckberry.com website. They sell women's too now, but originally I think they were just a menswear site, and they have like almost every brand on there is 100% sell-through rates. It's definitely worth going, researching, and knowing. Fantastic brand. And I also think if you come across one of the brands on there, because you can see this doesn't even say Huckberry, it is worth putting Huckberry in your title because people are looking for that. So keep your eye out for that. So this was called the Wills Stretch Blazer, and I think we listed it for $75 maybe and accepted an offer of $65. All right, this is Everlane. I hardly pick up this brand anymore, but their shoes still have quite a few things that perform well. So keep your eye out for Everlane shoes. They make really high quality leather. Specifically, this style is called the Day Glove Ballet Flats. And I've noticed a lot of really trendy brands are having this style now, where it's a flat, but it goes higher up on the foot. I don't know how else to describe it. Kind of like a midi flat, if that makes sense. But a lot of brands have this look right now that is very trendy. So if you see anything like this, I would definitely keep your eye out for it. Very minimalist, kind of capsule wardrobe piece. These sold for $80 pre-owned. So definitely a lot of value in this style. All right, back to the linens. This is Eileen Fisher. I've talked about it before, but plus sizes in Eileen Fisher are an absolute bolo. However, I would also keep your eye out for, even if it's not plus size, if there is linen during this time of the year in Eileen Fisher, even if it's smaller size, can really pull the sale through. This was a linen cardigan in a size XL. It sold for $50. Here is another soft surroundings plus size piece, 1X, kind of gauzy tunic top. It sold for $29. Another Eileen Fisher linen piece. This is a dress, and you can see this is only a size medium, but it's linen and it's a more substantial piece. It sold for $46. And you guys know I'm trying to stick away from Chico's. However, there was enough factor stacking in this piece that pulled it through. Specifically, the linen is really carrying it. So I thought that was a linen piece worth showing you. And you can also see it's not bright multicolor necessarily, but it is a bright color, nice geometric pattern, just very in your face artsy. And again, these styles are selling. This one sold for $35. All right, and I am staying away from colder weather items for the most part. I picked up this one during vacation in Virginia. This is an Orvis men's vest. Vests for me are still selling pretty well, depending on the piece. I think vests are still a great transition piece because people don't want to wear jackets, but they're okay with layering with a vest. So I think it is worth looking into still. This one sold for $42. This is a brand we've been selling a lot of in tops. It's Cobby, and this is their newer label. I'm trying to stick to their newer label, and especially in larger sizes, although I will say even their smaller sizes, dare I say, have been selling well in the tops. So I can't get much for them, usually $20-25, but they are selling very well. And I think it again is just because they make also a lot of bright multicolor springy items. So this is a sleeveless pre-owned top in Cobby, and it sold for $30. Here's another bright multicolor piece. This is Bowden, which Bowden in general is a pretty decent brand in dresses. This one was new with, well, we didn't even list it that way. I was gonna say it's new without tags because of this little string here. Beautiful all over embroidery. I listed this pretty high, and I actually ran a pretty deep sale, and this sold for $60. So I could have probably held out and got closer to $100 for this, but with that deep sale that I ran, I was happy to move this piece out. Here is another Eileen Fisher item, and it's also linen. This one was actually plus size as well, 3X, and it sold for $35. Pretty much any beachy linen cardigan like this in Eileen Fisher is going to sell regardless of size. This is a very log and look, kind of futuristic, like gothy looking item. It is by the brand La Mer. I think this one also sold on a deep discount that I sent out. And it ended up selling for $60. But I would say if you guys find any kind of very wide leg, exaggerated pants like this, definitely look it up. And lastly is a newer brand to me. It is Ozma. They have some pretty great comps, decent sell-through rate. This one was also sold on a very deep discount for $42, although I definitely could have held out and got more for it, but I will be keeping my eye out for this brand in the future. Alright guys, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below, hit the notification bell. If you do that, you'll be notified every single time I post these videos. That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.